Number 2, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Prime Minister, does he stand by all of his government statements and actions?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes.
Supplementary. What was the annual rate of inflation 1 year ago and what is it today?
What I can tell the member is that it's not 7.3%, which is what it was under his government, because he had an 84% increase in government spending. He drove inflation up to 7.3%, and then what he ended up doing was actually tripling our debt as well. So thank you very much, Labor.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Yeah, I think I can anticipate that. The Prime Minister might like to answer the question that was actually asked of him.
Well, our inflation rate is at 3%. It was 7.3% under Labor.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order.
It doesn't get much more straightforward than that. The Prime Minister keeps addressing matters that he doesn't have ministerial responsibility for. He is absolutely responsible for what the rate of inflation is today and what it was 1 year ago when he was also Prime Minister.
So I think it was about 2.2, maybe 2.5, depending on exactly what you're talking about. But just say to the member that one of the two of the big drivers of our inflation ticking up to 3%, which is well within the band, which is where we need to be, not 7.3% like the last lot we're at. But if the member feels so strongly about helping the government, he could do two things. One is he could actually come on board and actually support Fast Track, because that'll get more renewable electricity built. Actually, he could repeal the oil and gas ban and support that decision, because actually that would help lower electricity prices. And electricity prices are about 11% of the growth we've seen in the last quarter, and actually council rates are the other 9%. I just say to the member, get on board and actually support the council rates caps too, but I haven't heard a single word from you about that, so look forward to seeing that.
That's because I don't make comments like that.
Sorry.
The Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
What proportion of current inflation is driven by increase in government prices?
I don't have that number with me. What I can say is that isn't it fantastic that this is a government, through excellent economic management and getting a grip on government spending, has been able to lower domestic inflation from 3.7 to 3.5%. It's definitely not 7.3% as it was under a Labor Greens government. And if the Labor and the Greens really cared about it, instead of all the crocodile tears, then what you do is support Fast Track.
A point of order. The Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, once again, the question was about something that the Prime Minister does have responsibility for, which is the increase in government prices during his time as Prime Minister over the last year. He doesn't have any responsibility for the other issues that he was raising, which is what was happening previously. He hasn't addressed the bit that he is actually responsible for, which is what proportion of current inflation is driven by the increase in prices being imposed by his government.
Well, he did answer that right at the start. And as you know, inflation figures are taken over a time and they do indicate a trend. So it's not unusual that people go back in history to report how that trend has followed.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker. Is he still laser focused on the cost of living? If so, why do basic staples cost more than ever, with bread now 50% more expensive than it was just 1 year ago?
Well, I appreciate the member, based off this fine document called the New Zealand Future Fund, which was a fantastic document.
Order, Mr Speaker.
Wait on. No, sorry. Just a minute. That is not an acceptable answer. There is a pretty straight question asked. Give a straight answer. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
What I'd say is there's two big drivers to our slight increase in inflation. That is electricity up 11% and council rates up 9%. Actually, council rates being up 9% to 12% over the last wee while is actually also a contributor to government fees and charges. And I just say to the member, if you want to do something about electricity and lowering electricity prices and electricity inflation, which is 3 times the level of inflation, support Fast Track. Come out and give the commitment for a decade that you'll repeal the oil and gas ban. Make sure you get to a single position on public-private partnerships.
The Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, the question was about the price of bread. The Prime Minister hasn't addressed the price of bread at all. It's a basic staple. Most New Zealanders eat it every day. It's pretty important to them. I think they want to know why it's gone up by 50% in the last year.
Well, I think an answer that points to two drivers of price increase does address the question.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, why have rents increased by 2.6% over the last year, according to the CPI figures released yesterday, when he said his $3 billion tax cut for landlord was going to lower rents?
Yeah, there's a story of two tales on rents. One is actually for new rents, prices have lowered, and for existing rents, prices have gone up slightly.
The Honourable David Seymour.
Can the Prime Minister confirm that inflation has been managed within the 1 to 3% target band for the last 5 quarters after years of being out of control? And if so, what steps has the government taken that have helped make that possible?
Well, good economic management from this coalition government. A senior team that actually understands economics and can deal with numbers, unlike what we've seen in the Great New Zealand Future Fund document or pamphlet.
Point of order, the Honourable Gerry McNulty.
On at least 3 occasions, sir, you have told the Prime Minister that he is not to talk about the policies of other parties during question time. And in this instance, it's in response to a question from his own side.
Yes, and speaking of the point of order?
Point of order. I mean, this is an opposition that spent 2 years, sir, and this is their first economic policy, and this is the rubbish they've dished up. I mean,
it's not a point of order, and you were pretty quick off your feet. 2 people off their feet on that point of order. I have stamped on that prior. It is not appropriate for the government to use questions to attack the opposition. Never has been.
Supplementary. How many New Zealanders are currently on a job seeker benefit today, and how does that compare with 1 year ago?
About 217,000. But what was incredibly tragic was that in a period of low unemployment, about 3.2%, 60,000 more people just got consigned to benefits and job seeker benefits. It increased 50%. The last government had no interest in connecting people into work training.
Point of order, the Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Mr. Speaker, once again, the question was about a period in which the Prime Minister is responsible. He was Prime Minister for almost the entirety of the last 2 years. I was asking him to compare unemployment today to 1 year ago. I wasn't asking him about historical unemployment numbers. I was asking him how has unemployment increased over the last year.
That is true, but it's not inappropriate for a minister to refer to a situation that they inherited at some point when there is a change of government. That is in Speaker's rulings.
Order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister did not inherit the unemployment rate a year ago. He had been Prime Minister for almost a year at that point. The question was about what has happened in the last year.
Well, that might be true, but he's talking to a trend. The Prime Minister might like to elucidate. It gets closer to the specifics of the answer required.
Well, we're turning things around, and you've got to start with the brutal facts of your reality. And the reality was that we started with a 3.2% unemployment rate and 60,000 more people on job seeker benefit, up 50% under the last government. What's this government doing? We're making sure that young people make sure they are connected to employment, work or further training. That's why you've seen the work that we've done on 18 to 19-year-olds and being a parental responsibility. That's why you've seen the work that we've been doing on traffic lights and obligations that people have to look for work.
Supplementary question. Well, does he stand by his claim from 5 months ago, quote, unemployment is just almost peaking and about to come down, end quote? If so, how does he explain the fact that it has continued to increase and is now at its highest number since, in terms of job seekers, since 2012?
Yeah, look, economists forecast that we're peaking about now. We expect that will start to trend down as the economy is growing. But here's how it happened. I mean, basically, if you increase government spending by 84% of a lot of it wasteful, including the $66 billion on COVID.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Mr. Speaker, not only is he not responsible for the issues that he's raising, they're not relevant to the question that was asked. If he's going to attack the opposition, at least he has to have some attempt to make it relevant to the question that was asked.
Well, with all due respect, just a minute, everyone. I think any reference to you took the things right back to 2012. For the Prime Minister to reference matters that might have occurred between 2012 and 2025 becomes somewhat reasonable.
Supplementary. Why should New Zealanders believe him now when he confidently predicted unemployment had peaked, yet it's still going up? He said over a year ago that the economy had turned the corner when it's shrunk since then. And he said his government was going to increase infrastructure investment, but instead has cut it by $2.9 billion, putting thousands of people out of work.
Well, I can tell the member that we are a government that is getting spending gripped up. We do not increase government spending by 84%. We have inflation down from 7.3% to 3%. We've had 8 interest rate cuts, not 12 interest rate rises. We have a projection for the next 2 years that will grow faster than Australia. There's 240,000 jobs being created while our Minister of Social Development is doing a great job getting our people ready for that. And importantly, we're going to get people back into work. But it's interesting, a day after the first policy launch, not a single question on this.
Good.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
A point of order, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister is very helpfully promoting Labor's latest policy release. I seek leave to table it.
Well, surprisingly, you'll find that I already know it's publicly available. The Honourable Chris Bishop, point of order.
No, supplementary question.
Oh, sorry?
Supplementary question.
Oh, supplementary question.
In relation to unemployment,
Wait on.
can the Prime Minister confirm that unemployment now is lower than was projected in the 2023 pre-election economic and fiscal update?
Yes, I can. And what I can also confirm is that we've taken 21,000 people off welfare and into work. So the efforts of the Minister for Social Development and all of that team, they're doing an excellent job making sure we're getting people connected to work, training, the case management efforts, the obligations, the traffic light system, the 18 to 19-year-olds, all designed to get people to work.